My husband's elder brother was defrauded of 400,000 yuan, and my mother-in-law forced me to take out my savings to pay off her eldest son's debt. She said that if I didn't agree, she would let my husband divorce me, so I became single. I just came home after the prenatal checkup, and I saw a group of relatives coming to my house. My elder brother was kneeling on the carpet with his head down and smoking. My husband kept sighing, and my sister-in-law was sitting on the sofa crying and throwing things while crying. The floor was a mess, and my mother-in-law sat beside her to comfort her. I didn't go over but just greeted her casually. I went back to the room silently. I didn't care why the couple quarreled. I only know that the baby in my belly is only 3 months old, and I can't take the risk that the child may be deformed. In the living room, smelling secondhand smoke, listening to my sister-in-law talk about the trivial conflicts between the couple. My sister-in-law and my elder brother quarreled more than once or twice, and the reason was nothing more than that my elder brother was chatting with a girl again. Or maybe he went out to play cards with someone and lost money. Every time there was a big commotion. I'm used to it. Besides, he made my house like this. I'm lucky that I didn't lose my temper on the spot. When a couple quarrels, they don't quarrel at home. Instead, they come to the house of the pregnant sister-in-law to throw and hit each other. What's wrong with smoking? I was just about to lie on the bed to rest, but I didn't expect my mother-in-law to open my door directly with a bad look on her face. "Zhonglin, your sister-in-law is crying like this, but you don't care at all." I frowned. "Mom, aren't you and Wang Chong both concerned about her? There is secondhand smoke outside. Why am I a pregnant woman staying there?" The mother-in-law's face changed instantly. "Why are you so squeamish? What's wrong with a little smoke? Now the sky is about to fall at home, and you only care about yourself. Do you have a conscience?" I'm convinced. Not wanting to smell secondhand smoke during pregnancy is being a pampered person. What kind of perverse logic is this? When I was about to lose my temper, my husband finally came in to smooth things over. "Mom, don't argue with Xiaolin. She's pregnant. She shouldn't be exposed to secondhand smoke during pregnancy. This is not a matter of being a pampered person." Then he sighed and turned to persuade my wife. "It was my fault. I only cared about my eldest brother. I neglected that you can't smell the smoke. Don't worry, I have asked my eldest brother to put out his cigarette. He is going to open the window for ventilation now. There will be no smell in the living room in a while." Seeing Wang Chong's sincere look, I was more than half angry. Forget it, let the mother-in-law say whatever she wants. Anyway, he doesn't come often. As long as my husband stands by me, I live with my husband. It's not like I live with his family. At this point my attitude softened. What happened to my husband? Is it serious? Wang Chong looked a little depressed. "Hey, my brother was defrauded of 500,000 yuan. Not only did he lose all the savings of the two of them for so many years, he also owed the bank 200,000 yuan. Now my sister-in-law is divorcing him. I am a little confused. That's not right. Didn't my brother make money some time ago? I heard that he made more than 100,000 yuan. Why did my husband interrupt me before I finished speaking? Don't mention that he was deceived by a woman to invest. The first time he invested 50,000 yuan, he returned 10,000 yuan. The second time he invested 100,000 yuan, he returned 30,000 yuan. The third time he invested 200,000 yuan, he returned 70,000 yuan. This time he directly invested 500,000 yuan. Now it's good. The other side closed the net directly, and didn't get a penny back. I understood it all at once. Isn't this a pig-killing scheme? It's a net loss of 390,000 yuan. I invested 50,000 yuan, and I made a net profit of 10,000 yuan in a few days. The annual interest rate is more than 1,000%. Wow, if the bank gives a fixed interest rate of 4%. I know how many people are queuing up to deposit their money. The annual interest rate is more than 1,000%. There is such a good thing. Why don't they leave it to their relatives but tell you what an obvious scam? They can actually cheat my husband's brother of 390,000 yuan. Of course, this is someone else's family affair after all, so I can't say much. I just whispered to comfort him that it was really unlucky. You can persuade your eldest brother well. You can make money again if you lose it. Don't think too much. I obviously have good intentions, but I didn't expect my mother-in-law to get angry after hearing it. It's easy to make money again if you lose it. The debt collectors have come to your door, and your sister-in-law is going to divorce. Your brother is going to be separated from his wife and children. Even if he makes money in the future to fill the hole, what's the point of losing the family? I was stunned by her yelling, and seemed to know her intention. I tentatively asked, "Mom, what do you mean?" He seemed to have been waiting for me to ask this question, and his eyes suddenly lit up. "Don't you have money in your card? When you got married, we gave you a betrothal gift of 200,000 yuan. Your mother gave you another 200,000 yuan as a dowry, which is just enough to fill this hole. Just make a contribution to this family, and take out the money to help your brother." I didn't say anything. The mother-in-law added, "Don't worry, we won't take your money for nothing. Just consider it as a loan. We will give you the principal according to the bank's interest rate, and you will pay it back slowly in the future." If he really was planning to take advantage of me, I felt chilled to the bone. I'm still pregnant and I had to quit my job because of severe preeclampsia. I'm currently unemployed and waiting for the birth of my child. The only reason I dared to quit my job and wait for the birth of my child was the more than 300,000 yuan in the card. Not only did he plan to take advantage of my betrothal gift, he was even thinking about my dowry. How shameless. Besides, if Wang Wei was in urgent need of money because he was sick, I might have lent him the money. But this was a loan he owed due to fraud, and it was money he owed to the bank. He and his wife are in good health and can pay it back slowly by themselves. Why did they have to borrow money from me, a pregnant woman, to pay off the bank's debt? There is only one reason. The money owed to the bank cannot be repaid, but the money owed to me can be repaid. When they borrowed the money from me in the first place, they had no intention of paying it back. I refused outright, but I'm afraid that's not possible. I'm still pregnant, and I'll need money to hire a confinement nanny and buy milk powder for the baby in the future. Ask your eldest brother to think of another way. What kind of excuse is this? A natural birth doesn't cost much. I will take care of you during the confinement period. There is no need to hire a confinement nanny. As for milk powder, there is no need for that. Breast milk is more nutritious than milk powder. To put it bluntly, you just don't want to help. The mother-in-law put her hands on her hips and looked at me with resentment. I was stunned by her remarks, but she was very satisfied with my reaction. She thought her reason was so perfect that I could not refute it. A smile appeared on the corner of her mouth, but she didn't know that I was just shocked by his shamelessness. His vicious remarks made me more determined not to give a penny. I don't want to not be able to afford the surgery fee for the cesarean section, not be able to afford a confinement nanny during the confinement period, and not be able to buy milk powder after giving birth. If that's the case, I might as well not give birth. I didn't continue to argue with him, but turned to stare at my husband who had been silent, and asked him, "Wang Chong, what do you think?" It doesn't matter what the mother-in-law says. The only thing I care about now is Wang Chong's attitude. If he stands on my side, we will work together to drive his mother and brother and sister-in-law out of our home and cut off their borrowing. But if he also has the same idea as my mother-in-law, then I will divorce him. Wang Chong looked at me, then at his mother, hesitated for a long time, and finally expressed his opinion. "Mom, what are you talking about? How to give birth to a child? You must listen to the doctor in the future. How can you prevent Xiaolin from having a cesarean section just because natural birth is cheaper? What if something happens?" The mother-in-law was surprised. It seemed that she did not expect her son to do this. He simply disobeyed her and her face turned green. Fortunately, Wang Chong still stood on my side, I thought, but Wang Chong's next words gave me a blow. "Wife, what my mother said is not unreasonable. My brother's family is in trouble now, and we have to help. Otherwise, let my mother take care of you during the confinement period, let the child drink milk powder, and give the saved money to my brother to tide over the difficulties." My goodness, it turns out that he is waiting for me here. The mother and son play the good cop and the bad cop, just for the little savings in my hand. But before I said anything, the mother-in-law got angry. How much money can be saved by that? No, I don't agree. He must at least hand over all the betrothal money. If he doesn't want to give the dowry, then don't give it. After all, he is inhuman. But the betrothal money was originally our family's money, and he must give it every penny. Wang Chong looked embarrassed. He wanted to persuade his mother but didn't know how to start. His eyes kept looking at me, expecting me to give in. I didn't say anything but also looked at him. I was quite curious and wanted to know how he would refresh my bottom line when things developed to this point. But I didn't see what I wanted to see. Wang Chong's sister-in-law Sun Xia walked in with red eyes at this time, looked at me and said humbly, "Xiaolin, your brother and I didn't take your money for nothing. We can write you an IOU and regard it as a loan from us. To be honest, since you got married, your sister-in-law has been good to you. Can you help us? We will definitely pay you back the principal and interest in the future." The mother-in-law looked at him with great distress. His attitude was completely different from her attitude towards me. "Xiaoxia, you are too kind. It's like this and you're still considering him." He glared at me fiercely, as if he was looking at something dirty. I just found it funny. What's the matter? He borrowed my money, but it's for my own good. Am I the bad guy? Wang Chong also showed appreciation for Sun Xia, and then advised my wife, since my sister-in-law has made such concessions, why don't we also make concessions and lend it to him anyway? In addition to the 200,000 betrothal gift, you also have 200,000 dowry money. I am convinced that my dowry was given to me by my mother. Why don't they snatch my dowry money away and even treat it as alms? I really can't listen to his crooked logic. I interrupted him directly and started to talk. Lend him 200,000. Can he afford it? How long is the repayment period? What is the collateral? How much higher is the repayment interest rate than the bank? Wang Chong, Have you thought about all these? If they are short of money because of illness or something, then it's fine to lend it to him. The key is that they are being cheated. Then if he repays me, what's the difference between repaying the money to the bank? Why do they have to borrow my money to repay the bank debt, unless they had no intention of paying it back when they borrowed the money? My words were merciless and tore apart Sun Xia's hypocritical mask. Sun Xia looked at me with resentment in her eyes, and her mother-in-law was so angry that she wanted to eat me, and her teeth were grinding. Wang Chong lowered his head and said nothing. At this time there was a sudden shout from outside the door. "Bitch, I have tolerated you for a long time." Wang Wei rushed in with bloodshot eyes. Before I could react, he rushed to my bed and slapped me twice. My face suddenly felt hot, and I felt a rusty smell spreading in my throat. I even felt a little dizzy. My mother-in-law stood beside me motionless with a smile on her face. My sister-in-law also looked at me with a smug look on her face, as if she had finally let out her anger. Wang Wei slapped me twice but was still not satisfied. He even wanted to hit me in the face with his fist. Before his fist came down, Wang Chong seemed to finally react, and he quickly stepped forward to stop him. "Brother, what are you doing?" Wang Chong stared at his brother in disbelief. English, I was shocked, but Wang Wei didn't care. "Brother, don't blame me. Your wife was unreasonable first. I just helped you teach her a lesson. You should know that you married her to let her work, not to let her ride on the head of her in-laws and bully others. Don't spoil her too much. There is no woman in this world who manages money. For such a little money, she even disregards family affection and doesn't take you, your sister-in-law, and our mother into her eyes. Such a woman deserves to be beaten." After she finished speaking, she glared at me fiercely. Wang Chong looked at my swollen cheeks. Although there was a trace of heartache in his eyes, he did not refute Wang Wei's words. At this moment I was completely heartbroken about Wang Chong. What do I need a man who can't even protect his wife? I finally made up my mind to divorce him, but I'm trapped in a wolf's den now. None of the people around me are good. I must first ensure my own safety. I calmed down and pretended to be obedient. "Wang Chong, I know I was wrong. Why don't we lend the money to my brother?" Brother is right, I was indeed too ignorant just now. Wang Chong's tense expression immediately relaxed and he looked excited. "What my wife said is true." That I nodded seriously. That I reflected on it and realized that I was indeed a bit unkind. Of course you have the right to control the betrothal gift you gave me. What's more, it is to help your brother. Shouldn't relatives help each other? I really shouldn't have done that just now. Mother-in-law smiled and said, "Why? Didn't you say so earlier? Then you wouldn't be beaten." My sister-in-law also smiled and was very satisfied with my answer. "Okay, we are all family. We don't blame you. Since you know you are wrong, let's go to the bank and transfer the money now. We will pay it back quickly. The sooner we pay it back, the less interest we will pay." I agreed readily. "Okay, I'll listen to my sister-in-law." On the way to the bank, Wang Chong sat in the driver's seat, Wang Wei sat in the co-pilot's seat, and I sat in the middle of the back seat. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law sat on either side of me, as if they were afraid that I would run away. My mother-in-law was in a very good mood and was smiling at Sun Xia to be positive. "Xiao Xia, after you pay back the 200,000, don't mention divorce anymore. It's better for you and Xiao Wei to live a good life." However, there was still a trace of hesitation on Sun Xia's face. "Mom said we were planning to buy a house. Even if we pay back the money, our savings are gone. What are we going to use to pay the down payment in the future?" The mother-in-law winked at him and said, "Why are you afraid? We still have your younger brother. Xiao Wei paid for Xiaoqiang to go to college. Now Xiaoqiang has a stable job. It's time for him to repay his brother, right?" Wang Chong glanced at me in the rearview mirror. Seeing that I looked calm, he said with relief, "Yes, sister-in-law, don't worry. Xiaolin and I will definitely help you in the future." After getting Wang Chong's guarantee, Wang Wei smiled like a 200-pound fat man. "Haha, my younger brother is filial." I said, "Wife, you don't have to worry about the house at all. Think about it, our younger brother lives in a big house in the city center. Can he watch us sleeping on the streets in the future? At worst, we can move into my younger brother's house. Anyway, the house is big and the family lives in a lively and harmonious place. The family lives in harmony, talking and laughing. The atmosphere in the car is amazing, but they seem to have forgotten that the car is mine and the house is mine too. They take it for granted that everything I have is their own property. It is shameless and outrageous." Finally, we arrived at the bank. Under the surveillance, I carefully asked Brother Wang Wei, "Do you have to take the 200,000? Can you take less? I'm pregnant and I need money." Wang Wei's tone became impatient again. "Get up and stop talking nonsense. We agreed that 200,000 is 200,000. If you dare to go back on your word, I will beat you up again." I was extremely scared with tears in my eyes and a pitiful look. Only then was Wang Wei satisfied. But they didn't know that several smiling men came with a woman with red and swollen cheeks, blood at the corners of her mouth, and tears in her eyes to withdraw money. And they withdrew a huge sum of 200,000 yuan at a time. How could this not attract the attention of the staff? Finally, when I signed the word "Save Me" on the deposit slip, the bank staff finally took me to the backstage for protection on the pretext that a large amount of money was withdrawn and needed special treatment, and then helped me call the police. While waiting for the police to arrive, I went to the bathroom, locked the door, picked my throat, and turned in circles on the spot for about 40 or 50 times. Looking at my red eyes and erratic steps in the mirror, I smiled with satisfaction. The police arrived soon. Within 5 minutes, 2 police cars came, and 4 policemen got out of the cars. When Wang Wei and others were controlled by the police, they still looked confused and didn't understand what was going on. Wang Wei rubbed his hands at a loss and said timidly, "Uncle Police, have you made a mistake? We are all good citizens, big good citizens." Sun Xia frowned and complained that they had arrested the wrong person. There are so many fugitives, but they are not arresting them. Instead, they are scaring us ordinary people. When the mother-in-law heard this, she got angry. She put her hands on her waist and started scolding. "Feel dizzy, I can't understand what you said." The mother-in-law was stunned and then pulled Wang Chong's sleeve. He couldn't be beaten, stupid. Wang Chong looked at his mother helplessly. It seems that he couldn't think of how he could have such a stupid teammate. Wang Wei was yelling at this time. "He was blackmailing me. I slapped him twice. I didn't kill him at all. How could I beat him like this, bitch? Quickly tell the police. Otherwise don't blame me for being rude." Looking at his ferocious face, I was terrified. I held my head with my hands and cried, don't hit me, I'll give you all the money, isn't that enough?" Wang Wei became even more angry, his face flushed and his neck thick with anger. "You bitch, don't talk nonsense here. If you cry again, I will beat you to death immediately." He yelled and did things at the same time. "Come at me if you want to, don't hit me." I broke down and cried. Of course Wang Wei didn't touch me. When he was still several meters away from me, he was stopped by the police, and then happily received a pair of bracelets. They are the Wang family. We were all taken to the police station and I was taken to the hospital for examination. Since I was still pregnant, I could not do a CT scan and could only do an MRI. The result was as expected and there was nothing abnormal. I was just slapped twice. Of course, nothing was found, not even a minor injury. But I could pretend. I walked crookedly, my eyes were wandering, and I was so weak that I looked like I could be blown down by a gust of wind. Who can say that I am not sick? With the help of the female police, I came to the emergency doctor. "Where do you feel uncomfortable?" the doctor asked me. Before I could answer, I suddenly felt out of control and retched for a long time. After a while I said, "Doctor, I feel dizzy and nauseous and my head hurts a lot. When did these symptoms appear?" I didn't say anything, staring at the doctor's eyes in a daze. 2 seconds later, "Doctor, what did you just say?" Her eyes were confused. The doctor had no choice but to ask again. I said, "When did you have these symptoms?" Only then did I start to answer. "This afternoon my husband, his brother, beat me." "Ouch, doctor, my head hurts so much. I hope the baby in my belly will be okay." The doctor looked solemn. He hit me on the head and nodded hurriedly. Yes, I was lying on the bed. He rushed over and slapped me twice. My mouth was bleeding. "Hey, why is there a black spot here?" I stretched out my right hand and grabbed in the direction of the black spot. But I couldn't catch it. "What's going on?" The doctor pondered for a moment and told me to close one eye and open the other to see which I had the problem. I pretended to be enlightened and asked the doctor fearfully, "My right eye can't see clearly. The black spot is on my right eye. Doctor, can my eyes be cured?" The doctor looked at my red eyes and sighed. "Don't think too much and focus on the treatment." Then he typed a few words on the medical record. I glanced at it with the corner of my eye. It was suspected that I had brainstem injury, corneal tissue damage, and cranial nerve compression. I successfully closed my eyes with my superb acting skills. "The detention center was because Wang Chong is my husband," I said with a look of disappointment. "Shut up. Didn't I tell you in the beginning that Wang Chong was not a good match? He has no car or house and he has an older brother. They used all their family's strength to support a college student like him. Now that he has graduated, he naturally has to take on the responsibility of repaying their big family. Anyway, you won't get any benefits, but you insist on arguing with me and saying that Wang Chong is good to you. Now you have learned your lesson, right?" I ate an apple and nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. My face was redder than the apple. Thinking of the naive and stupid words I said back then, I felt so nervous and couldn't understand it. Ding Xiao had tried so hard to persuade me at the beginning. Why did I still jump into the fire pit like a stubborn donkey? Seeing me admitting my mistake obediently, Ding Xiao's expression finally eased. "I learned my lesson. I'm afraid you'll be like some stupid women. After being beaten, the other party gave you a sweet date, and then you foolishly forgave them and you've been exploited all your life." But my head shook like a rattle. It's impossible. I can't forgive them. I've made up my mind. I'm going to let Wang Wei have a criminal record, abort the baby in my belly, and divorce Wang Chong. I won't even have surgery. The appointments have been made. Ding Xiao nodded with satisfaction. "This is good enough. You are promising." My mood just got better. After a while, Wang Chong and his mother rushed in. Zhang Lin, please sign a letter of understanding for my son. It's just to borrow some money from you. Do you have to send my son to jail? Xiao Wei is in jail now, and Sun Xia went back to her parents' home and asked for a divorce. Are you satisfied? I tell you, please sign a letter of understanding for Xiao Wei quickly. Otherwise, if Xiao Wei gets divorced, I won't let you have a good life. I will also let my son divorce you. My mother-in-law is looking at my belly. My dear, apologize, it's the same routine again, one is soft and the other is hard. Can't there be some innovation? I spit Ding Xiao directly on Wang Chong's face, and then directly scolded, you are so shameless, your brother was so angry, why didn't he delete those debt collectors, his wife, you and your mother, but deleted our Xiaolin? Don't forget Xiaolin is still pregnant, he quit his job to take care of the baby, and he only has that little money in his hand, and you ask for 200,000 yuan. At once, how can you let him pay for your child? Your family really has a good calculation. Wang Chong's face turned red after being scolded so mercilessly by the beautiful Ding Xiao. He wiped the saliva off his face silently and said, "No, it's all a misunderstanding." The mother-in-law felt that her son was bullied and was angry. "Why did you scold my son? You vixen, it's none of your business to meddle in our family affairs. The betrothal gift was originally our money. Now we are in trouble. What's wrong with taking it and using it? Besides, she is giving birth to the child herself, so what's wrong with taking the money herself? If she didn't have the 200,000 yuan, she wouldn't be able to give birth." I nodded, and you are right. I really can't have a baby without the 200,000 yuan, so I have decided to have an abortion and then divorce your son. After I finished speaking, the ward became quiet in an instant. My mother-in-law looked at me with wide eyes and asked, "What did you say, abortion and divorce?" I nodded with a smile and said, "Yes." Wang Chong was anxious and his tone was a little cold and anxious. "Xiao Lin, you are crazy. If you do this, have you ever thought about what to do in the future? You are a woman who has had an abortion and is divorced. You will be despised everywhere in society. Which man will want you in the future?" Every sentence seemed like their concern for me, but every word they said was breaking me. Men always want to control us with the moral shackles and chastity concepts they set, trying to make us their puppets. This has been their fixed routine for thousands of years. Some people have been successfully brainwashed by them, thinking that starving to death is a minor matter and losing their chastity is a major matter. They will die for a fiancé they have never met, will choose to hang themselves when facing the risk of being defiled, and will raise their young children alone after their husbands die. For the so-called name of chastity, some of them have sacrificed their youth, and some have sacrificed their lives. But what they got in exchange for their most precious lives was nothing but a series of cold chastity arches, nothing else. And those women who were not brainwashed by them were labeled as promiscuous and were forever engraved on the pillar of shame in the long river of history. Wang Chong thought that he could also use this decadent moral concept to restrain me, but I disappointed him because as long as I have no morality, morality cannot restrain me. I don't care about rumors. If someone looks down on me because I had an abortion and divorced, it cannot prove that I am a traitor. Proving how bad I am can only prove how bad the other person's character is. I will not fall into a vicious circle of self-proof. I will only stay away from him silently to prevent him from being struck by lightning. Looking at Wang Chong's confident eyes, I laughed. You, a man who causes women to have abortions, are not afraid of being looked down upon. What should I, a victim, be afraid of? Wang Chong was anxious. That's different. I am a man and you are a woman. Ding Xiang couldn't listen anymore. What's wrong with men? Men are great. They have grown an extra thing. Look at you, so arrogant. You have time to think about whether Zhang Lin will get married in the future. You might as well think about where you will live in the future without a car and a house. Well, think about whether your brother will live in the detention center. The mother-in-law was very surprised. What do you mean he can get a divorce if he wants, but why should he get your car and house? I rolled my eyes and said, what do you mean your son's car and house? My parents bought them for me before I got married. They are my premarital property. How can Wang Chong have a house? You have given all your savings to your eldest son. How can you buy a car and a house for Wang Chong? He was furious. Xiao Wei didn't go to college and earns less than Xiaoqiang. What's wrong with me helping them? Besides, Xiao Wei provides Xiaoqiang went to college. You and your wife will never be able to repay this kindness in your lifetime. Don't keep talking about your house. I tell you, a woman should obey her husband. You married my son, so this belongs to my son, and what belongs to my son is mine. What belongs to his brother belongs to our Wang family. He widened his eyes and said a lot of funny crazy things like an illiterate obsessed with money. Ding Xiao and I looked at each other, smiled tacitly, and said nothing. There was no need to argue with such a legal illiterate. I don't know why, but our actions were not aggressive at all. But it made Wang Chong's mother even more angry. What are you laughing at? Believe it or not, I will tear your mouths apart. Wang Chong was just standing there in a daze. Seeing his mother rushing up to hit me, Wang Chong finally reacted and stopped her. That's enough. How long do you want to make trouble? When she yelled, Ding Xiao and I were stunned, and her mother was also stunned. Xiao Chong, how can you talk to your mother like this? What kind of love potion did this little bitch feed you? She cried and sat on the ground and threw a tantrum. You forgot your mother now that you have a wife. Why is my life so hard? Your father left early. I worked so hard to bring you two brothers up. But now you help your wife bully me. You have no conscience. Seeing his mother acting like a rogue, Wang Chong was helpless. Mom, this is a hospital. Can you please stop making trouble here? He supported his mother and whispered to her. Don't forget, we are here for my brother's matter. My brother is still in there waiting for us to rescue him. If you keep making trouble here, things will only get worse. You should go back first and have a good talk with Xiaolin. We are husband and wife. He will always give me some face. Finally, he persuaded his mother. His mother glared at me and walked out of the ward. Wang Chong looked into my eyes and was about to speak when I interrupted him. Stop. If you want to plead for your brother, then I have nothing to talk to you about. I can't sign a letter of apology. Wang Chong shook his head and said, No, Xiaolin, I just said that to him just to get him away so that he won't bother you again. What I really want to tell you is that I have realized how stupid my previous behavior was. I don't want to lose you. I hope you can give me a chance to correct it. I was surprised for a moment. But I soon realized his true intention. He didn't know he was wrong. It was just that he realized his mother's true face of favoring his brother, and he also realized the consequences of divorcing me, losing his car and house and his wife and children. If he chose his brother and mother, he would have nothing, and even have to help his brother bear part of the foreign debt. But if he chose me, he would still be a successful person with a car and a house. He stood on the side of his mother and brother before, just because he thought I was pregnant and loved him so much, so I was easy to control. He sacrificed my interests in exchange for the harmony and peace of their family. Ning, why not? He chose me now not for love but for interests. I understand this better than anyone else. I pretended to be naive and asked him, Oh, then how do you want to correct it? Wang Chong's eyes were filled with hope. He looked at me and said, I promise you I will never contact my mother and brother again. I will put my whole heart on you and the children, and I will never let you suffer any grievances in the future. My eyes suddenly lit up for a moment, and the corners of my mouth just raised, but as if I remembered something, the light in my eyes dimmed again. Forget it, how can you change easily? Even this time you didn't give me a reason. I can't give you a reasonable explanation. How can I expect that you will really stand by me in the future? Let's get a divorce. When I said these words, I felt a murderous gaze beside me. If gazes could kill, I must have died 100 times. But Wang Chong seemed to have grabbed a life-saving straw. He was very excited. Yes, Xiaolin, I will definitely handle this matter well and make you satisfied. I nodded with emotion. Okay, I believe you. Wang Chong walked out of the door excitedly while Ding Xiao packed up his things angrily. I hurriedly stopped him. What are you doing? Don't go, Ding Xiao muttered while packing. If I don't leave now, I'm afraid I'll get breast nodules from anger. You're obsessed with love. Don't look for me if you get beaten next time. You can make peace with him later. I thought I was a clown. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I quickly explained to him that I didn't plan to forgive him. Isn't this a good opportunity to use him? Let them fight each other and we can gain the benefits. Besides, if we get rid of him now, we don't have to worry about the operation in 2 days. He came to make trouble. What a good plan, don't you think? Ding Xiao looked at me with an inquiring look. I nodded quickly. Looking at my sincere eyes, he finally believed me and put down the thing in his hand. Dongxi breathed a sigh of relief. He rarely praised me for having some brains. For a period of time afterwards, I don't know what kind of magic potion Wang Chong fed his mother and sister-in-law, but he never let his mother and his sister-in-law show up in front of me. It was so quiet that I was even a little uncomfortable. During this period of time, I had an abortion and then returned to the workplace and found a relatively satisfactory job. On the day when Wang Wei's verdict came out, Ding Xiao and I were watching a movie at home. Wang Chong excitedly told me that Wang Wei was given a record of provoking disturbances and was sentenced to 6 months. Wang Wei went in, but it was a relief. The family's 200,000 yuan debt had to be repaid. The debt collectors came every day, and it was no use dragging it on. Sun Xia was Wang Wei's wife, and the debt was their joint debt. The mother-in-law was Wang Wei's mother, and she couldn't escape either. Under Wang Chong's interference, the mother-in-law and Sun Xia both had their eyes on each other. The mother-in-law wanted Sun Xia to take out the original betrothal money to pay off the debt, but Sun Xia wanted the mother-in-law to sell her retirement home and use the money to fill the hole for her son. In a word, the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law were fighting every day, and the family was in turmoil. Wang Chong told all this to everyone as if to take credit. Tell me, and then he asked me, Xiaolin, can you forgive me now? I punished all those who bullied you one by one, but I asked him in return, but you were also one of the people who bullied me. Have you been punished? This question seemed to silence Wang Chong, and he didn't speak for a long time. I smiled and teased him, how about this, let's get a divorce, This will be considered as a punishment for you, and then you can pursue me again if you behave well. I will accept you again." Wang Chong was a little hesitant, "But what if you don't agree to remarry me?" I winked and Ding Xiao understood, and took out the fake pregnancy we had prepared long ago from the closet. I found the belt around my belly and put it on me. Then I took a picture of myself pregnant and sent it to Wang Chong. "The baby is almost 5 months old. If I don't remarry you, will I be a single mother? This is a test from the baby. Forget it, you are not sincere in coaxing me. I will ignore you." Wang Chong was relieved and agreed very readily. No, promise your wife that you will not ignore me." "Okay. Let's meet at the Civil Affairs Bureau at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Ding Xiao will accompany me to the prenatal checkup later. It's just on the way back." "Okay, wife moi." The last sentence almost made Ding Xiao vomit. He cursed Wang Chong's ancestors. That afternoon, Ding Xiao accompanied me to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Wang Chong had been waiting at the door of the Civil Affairs Bureau. When he saw me getting off the car, he ran over to help me like a considerate husband. Of course, he was pushed away by Ding Xiao. "Did he let you help him? Did he forgive you? Wait until you pass the test, then come back to touch him." Although I also hate Wang Chong, I have to pretend because I haven't got the divorce certificate yet. I looked at Wang Chong apologetically and explained, "Ding Xiao is just like that, don't take it personally." Wang Chong was scolded at first and his face looked a little bad, but after hearing what I said, he became happy again and said, it's okay. I don't bother with him. Wife, I can do anything for you." I nodded, pretending to be touched. Although every word he said made me want to cut him, I still had to be patient and pretend to be in love. It was so bad. I acted for a long time with a big belly and finally finished the scene with him. It's a pity that we can't get the divorce certificate immediately. We have to wait for a month after the divorce cooling off period. I had no choice but to bear the nausea and chat with Wang Chong for a month. During this month, Wang Chong kept telling me the recent situation of his mother and Sun Xia as a joke. He said that his sister-in-law and his brother, they are already getting a divorce, but because his brother has nothing now and is afraid that he will not be able to get married in the future, he refuses to divorce. Sun Xia has no choice. The marriage cannot be divorced and the debt must be repaid. He had to go back to his own home with a licking face and ask his mother for the bride price. However, his money has been used by his mother to buy a house for his brother. How could she return it to him? The result is imaginable. Not only did he not get a penny back, but he was also scolded by his mother. She almost severed the mother-daughter relationship with him. Now Sun Xia has simply given up and is not in a hurry anymore. She just holds her mobile phone every day and chats with no one knows who she is. Wang Chong's mother is finally scared. He was afraid that if Sun Xia was really forced away by him, it would be difficult for his son to find a wife after he got out. So he decided to sell the house to help his son pay off the debt. However, after more than half a month, no one came to see the house. Wang Chong told him that houses were not easy to sell now, and it was normal that they could not be sold for a while. But they didn't know that the agent had contacted Wang Chong several times and said they would bring customers to see the house, but he refused for various reasons. Wang Chong didn't want to sell the house at all. Finally, a month later, I successfully got the divorce certificate from Wang Chong wearing a fake belly that was one size bigger. The funny thing is that Wang Chong, he was actually more excited than me. He stood outside the car window, looking at me affectionately. "Shaolin, have you calmed down? Can I pursue you again?" I lowered the car window, looked into his eyes, smiled disdainfully, and then spat in his face fiercely. "You are not worthy of this. Let's talk about it in the next life." Then while he was stunned, I took off the fake belly tied to my body and threw it to him. "Take it and give birth to your own child." After that, Ding Xiao stepped on the accelerator, sprayed him in the face with car exhaust, and drove away with me. In the rearview mirror, I saw Wang Chong holding the fake belly. His eyes changed from dull to shocked, and then to, I couldn't help the boundless anger from inside out, and finally burst into laughter. Ding Xiao also laughed out loud with me. It was a laugh of relief, a wanton laugh. The car was full of a joyful atmosphere. The reason why we were so unscrupulous was because we really had nothing to be afraid of. The car was rented, and Wang Chong couldn't find us by the license plate number. I also sold the previous house and car. Wang Chong didn't have my address at all. I also found a better job opportunity in another city. Ding Xiao's company also has a branch in that city. He can go there and become a small leader. Then we can live together. I'm not afraid of Wang Chong. Life was too comfortable. We sorted out our chat records with him, which clearly recorded everything he had done during this period, and then packaged them and sent them to his mother and sister-in-law. If something unexpected happened, the anger of the two women would be enough to make him very upset. Later, Ding Xiao and I's work was booming. By chance, we smelled a business opportunity, and then we both resigned and started our own business. We happened to catch up with the industry's trend and made a lot of money. One day, when I was on vacation abroad with Ding Xiao, I received a message from an unfamiliar number. My sister-in-law went to my company to make trouble, causing me to lose my job. And my brother also, he came out and beat me up as soon as he came out. My mother watched me being beaten without saying a word. They all hate me now and drove me out. Xiaolin, I miss you. I don't blame you for lying to me. Can you come back to me? I can't remember how many numbers like this I have blocked. But this time I changed my mind and didn't block them directly. Looking at Ding Xiao, who was picking up shells on the beach in the distance, I smiled and said to him, "Don't send me messages anymore. Ding Xiao will be angry." Then deleted the text message, blocked the number, picked up the wildflowers I had just picked and ran towards Ding Xiao.